Now, Tony Schwartz was Donald Trump's ghostwriter for his famous book, The Art of the Deal. So basically, he helped co-write this book. Now, in order to do that, Schwartz had to spend about 18 months with Donald Trump and his family. Now, you would think that spending that so much time with someone else so closely in order to write such a book, he had to have a little bit of an insight into who Donald Trump really is. Now, recently, he decided to share some of that insight with George Stephanopoulos when asked a series of questions about why he has now broken his silence about how he really feels about Donald Trump. Let's take a look at that clip.
Really, what I'm talking about is character, and every American ought to be concerned about his character.
If that's the case, why keep your silence for so long?
Because we had a successful experience together. I never in a million years thought he would run for president. Had I thought that 30 years ago, I wouldn't have written the book. But for 29 years, I didn't think he would, and it didn't seem like it was important to speak out. I now feel it's my civic duty. I have nothing to gain from this. I've made a decision and already have given every dollar of my royalties I've earned over the last year since he announced for president to a series of nonprofit causes aimed at the people whose rights Donald Trump wants to abridge, immigration groups and the like.
You said in the past that nothing you wrote in The Art of the Deal was on its face false. Do you stand by that?
You know, no, I suspect there are quite a number of things that were false. I mean, right in the middle of while I was writing this book, he was telling me about these great stories about his 3 casinos and how successful they were, while at the very same time, all 3 of them were going bankrupt. So no, it's full of falsehoods.
You regret writing the book?
I do regret writing the book. Had he not run for president, I wouldn't regret writing the book. But if in any way this contributes to his being elected president, you know, I think this is a man who has more sociopathic tendencies than any candidate in my adult life that I've observed. And so, yeah, I do regret writing the book.
Damn. That's pretty harsh. Now, of course, I can't give this guy a ton of credit because he knew the real Donald Trump the whole time and decided not to come out with it until Trump decided to run for president. Now, why is that? Well, I think part of that has to do with the fact that he's still getting royalties from that book. I'm just saying. I'm going to be honest with you, because that's what we do here. It's about the money. But hey, look, at least he's out now, and at least we know now, right? So, look, I want to read a couple of quotes from Tony Schwartz about his former book partner to really kind of give you an insight into who Donald Trump is. He said, quote, "I genuinely believe that if Trump wins and gets the nuclear codes, there's an excellent possibility it will lead to the end of civilization." I can't disagree with that. One of the most deep and basic needs he has is to prove that I'm richer than you. This does not surprise me at all. Is it any wonder why he gets so defensive about his wealth and why he refuses to release all of his taxes? Here's another quote. Quote, "He's a living black hole." Okay, if that's not clear about how he feels about Trump. Trump didn't fit any model of human being I'd ever met. He was obsessed with publicity, and he didn't care what you wrote. Now that's really interesting, because look, this might explain why Donald Trump says all the horrible things that he says. He doesn't care what he says. All he wants is that publicity. All he wants are people talking about him. Well, how else do you get today's media to talk about you unless you say horrible things about another group of people? For example, calling the Mexicans rapists and criminals. That's going to get people to talk about you. That makes sense. Now some more details. Trump has the attention span of a kindergartner. Quote, "It's impossible to keep him focused on any topic other than his own self-aggrandizement for more than a few minutes. If he had to be briefed on a crisis in the Situation Room, it's impossible to imagine him paying attention over a long period of time." That seems about right. Just listen to him speak for a while. You'll kind of get that impression that he has no idea what he's talking about and that he has like some sort of ADHD. Oh, here I am psychoanalyzing the guy. playing Dr. Abloh. But I'm just saying, listen to him speak. It's rambling nonsense. Now, here's something about him personally. Quote, Donald pisses ice water. He'd like people when they were helpful and turn on them when they weren't. It wasn't personal. He's a transactional man. It was all about what you could do for him. And finally, this one's the most important. Lying is second nature to him. More than anyone else I've ever met. Trump has the ability to convince himself that whatever he is saying at any given moment is true or sort of true, or at least ought to be true. As I said, super important. Time after time, different media outlets, some part of the corporate media, some independent media outlets have pointed out lie after lie from Donald Trump, and still Trump gets away with it because he's become such an effective liar that I think he even believes his own bullshit. That's amazing. But look, this is what Donald Trump is. He's all about himself and will do anything to get more attention. He's the other side of Hillary Clinton. She'll bend and twist her positions to get into power. He'll lie to everyone's face and say outrageous things to get attention. And the fact that these two are running against each other is the absolute failure of the media, our politics, and of common sense.